Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the Championship Rounds podcast. I'm Andrew, joined by Taj and Dan. On a weekend that over-delivered in some areas and under-delivered in others, I think. Um, we'll start off last night. Chris Billam-Smith against Gilberto Ramirez. Zurdo taking a 116-112 times 2, 116-113 UD in a fight that I thought was quite a bit wider, if I'm being honest. Um, in a fight that I was really impressed with Zurdo in. Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was wider than scorecards. I mean, did someone give an even round? They had to have given an even round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
between
yeah.
16 and 13 has to be.
Jesus Christ. Look, I mean, it kind of went how I thought it would go. You know, with Zurdo's like superior speed and footwork and boxing ability just being too much for Crispin Smith, who, I mean, he always try and fights, but this time, I mean, he just couldn't tough his way to victory. Really, will his way to victory as he has done and overachieved. Just couldn't quite do it this time. Just came up against someone
He
just
like
too
willed
skilled.
him, like willed himself in like certain spots. In like some spots near the end, I thought maybe when Zurdo was slowing, he was about to come back, but he that eye from the accidental headbutt earlier in the fight, his eye was a mess. He probably couldn't see for most of the fight, and it just
Yeah, like
was
as
already
as
tough on him from just the
as
speed of Zurdo. It was just a guy outworked in every department.
as soon as that eye went, it was like he's not getting back into this. Like I tweeted it like that the fight's over. Like he's down now, and for him to get back into it, he needs to have to walk through a lot, and he couldn't at that point. He just couldn't. Like the eye was gone, and you can't mount a big comeback with one eye, really.
Especially against a good fighter
He was
Yeah.
like
like Zerto.
superior in most departments, and displayed a equally as crazy chin. So it's like it's just yeah.
It's I think I think I still think Crispin and Smith's punches had a lot more impact on Zurdo. He just wasn't throwing enough, and like the big moments came for Zurdo, and like he wasn't accurate enough. He wasn't consistent enough, and that's ultimately why he lost. Like, and he just couldn't set his feet because Zurdo was pivoting.
They're
I, it was
rolling
a
under
really
everything.
it was a really weird decision early on for Billam-Smith to box off the back foot. I don't know why he did that.
Uh,
What?
I don't know. Maybe like he had like so much success in the first round, and before. Hold on a sec. Let me just calm down a bit here. Like,
But that's sort of like how he was going to win the fight. He needed to jump on Zurdo early, make it really rough and physical. He did that. He had a really good first round. Then just
Fell off a
didn't.
cliff.
yeah, but
Yeah.
then Zerto came right back and was like, no, that can't continue. And then he just brought it straight to Zerto again. I mean, to Billam Smith in the next round.
But he was all. It was almost like a bit. Business allowed him to do it, like because he was boxing off the back foot for some reason. Like I just don't get it. I don't get why you go into that fight and box off the back foot, especially after the success in the first round. Like Zerdo probably would have won that fight anyway, but the best chance Billy Smith had was going in there, setting about him like he did, making it really physical, getting really on the front foot, pushing him around and working.
Just
I
being
think Billy
himself.
Smith loaded up, yeah, and he didn't do that for a lot of those early rounds. I think Billam-Smith was loading up loads because he hurt Zerto early and thought, I'm going to stop him here. Like I can just load up. Didn't rely on his volume like he normally does. Like the only this is why I picked Billam-Smith. The only way he had a chance was in the way that I envisioned the fight in my head. He needs to get on his chest, work, throw loads of shots, make it really physical, and he just abandoned that straight away. Like, he probably would have lost anyway, but that was his best chance of winning. I think, anyway.
I mean, it was, but I never really thought he would be allowed to do it because like, it's so hard against someone who has such better footwork than you. Like, you saw that he just kept turning him and turning him and turning him, getting the angles on him. Like, he throws, then he pivots out, and he can't hit anyone because no one's there. And he just has to keep resetting and resetting and resetting.
Yeah. Zurdo was really, really good.
I really hope he gets that Opataya fight next.
Unfortunately, I can't see it.
It should be that fight. I mean, he did say he wants Usyk, which...
He ain't fighting Usyk. Like, that Usyk fight, like, he's not moving back down to cruiserweight, ever. Let's stop that.
I hope he doesn't.
You don't go up to cruiser. You don't go up to like heavyweight at 33, 34 or whatever he was. Spend 5 years at heavyweight and then go back down. Like, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I thought it was a quite entertaining fight though. Like, it was like their chins are both ridiculous.
I really enjoyed watching it.
Zurdo took a lot of heavy leather though. Like, he showed chin, like he showed a really, really sturdy body, which I didn't think he'd have. Like, the amount, because Joe Smith broke Zurdo's ribs. I think I've read that somewhere this week. Not sure how true that is, but someone was saying that Joe Smith broke his ribs. And like the amount of shots that Zurdo was taking, big heavy shots, and he got hurt a couple of times to the body, but it never like slowed him down.
It's like you could tell when he got tired, but he still kept like somewhat the same pace the entire fight. He was still rolling, like his defense never weathered. He's still rolling under punches and still like just using really good upper body movement the entire fight.
I mean, it was a really disciplined performance. I mean, he picked his spots well, when to box and when to stick it on Zurdo and let go. I mean, Billam-Smith and let go of combinations. I mean, I knew Malik Scott would make him stick to that because that's exactly how he wants his fighters to fight. That's what he had Wilder doing, and that's just not Wilder's style.
I think as well, you say picked his spots really well, like he did, but also the sort of perception and round management of it, the aspect as well, because it's like, I can't remember a round where Zurdo didn't have, like, apart from the first, where Zurdo didn't have a really big finish. Like, last 30 seconds to a minute, like, Zurdo was winning practically all of those rounds in the last minute.
Yeah,
30 seconds, like, he had a big finish every single round.
Yeah, in I think it was the fifth round. I mean, that was one of Billam-Smith's better rounds, but Zurdo still finished like strong, and it made it a really close round. One of the few that Billam-Smith could have won. I mean, I gave him 2 rounds, but he could have won 3.
I gave him the first and the 10th.
Yeah, so did I. I think the first, 10th, and the 5th are the only ones you can give him. Like,
I've seen people giving him the second round. I'm like, and some before.
Did
I was like, what are we doing?
There was a certain someone that I've seen certain people saying that Billam-Smith won that fight.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, definitely.
No, he didn't.
Not through lack of trying. I mean, it's very impressive from both of them in the championship rounds. Because, I mean, Billam-Smith really went for it. And Zurdo finished how you should finish in a fight like that.
It's sort of testament to, well, not testament. It sort of sums up Billam-Smith's career in a way. Like, he's a fighter that's got all he could out of his limited ability. Like,
His ability should have never gotten him to a
yeah,
world title, let alone a unification fight.
it shouldn't have got him to a European title. Like, it shouldn't have got him to being a dominant British champion. It shouldn't have got
Come
him
with
to
multiple
like,
title defenses.
yeah,
And avenging his, like, getting to avenge his loss too.
Riyadh, yeah. But yeah, man, Zurdo should target Opataya. I don't think the WBC belt right now is a mess.
Yeah,
Because you got Riziki against Peralta 2
yeah.
in December, is that? I think that's December in
It
Canada.
seems like whoever the winner is there is just going to be upgraded to full champion.
Yeah, because the convention's like either the week before or the week after. So they'll just go there and say, like, you know, Michaelian's just clearly not interested. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's such a weak champion. Like Riziki and especially Riziki, they're not championship caliber fighters, like, at all.
Yep. Like, and chances are, like, the winner of that gets ordered to defend the mandatory. Like, so it's a mess, really, cruiserweight. Like, Opataya needs to fight Sin Cara, like, and I think that'll be February 22nd. But, like, I said at the time, it's 5 months wasted that didn't need to be wasted.
Yeah, he should have got
Like,
that over with.
he should have just fought him instead of Massey, because nobody wanted to see that Massey fight anyway, really. Like, no one was sat there demanding a Jack Massey fight, you know what I mean?
He should have just got his mandatory out the way so he didn't have to worry about it. So now he's forced to, like, get through it.
Yep.
All right.
And yeah, I think WBA mandatory is Dorticos, and that's been pushed back about 3 or 4 times.
Who knows what Dota goes? He hasn't since he lost to Bradis. His career is just in the air.
He's been on those Don King cards, and it's just like, whatever. Like, and he's been made mandatory, and it's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and like, yeah. Like, I don't even know how he got made mandatory in the first place. Like, he's
He hasn't
won.
done anything for 5 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah. Like, it's just, he's a really, really good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. But I guess it's a name like Dorticos. I guess, is he still top 10 rated?
Probably.
I can't tell because Ring's website's down. Cheers. Thanks. Um, thank you, Turkey, for, taking down an entire archive of articles and rankings. But yeah, um, yeah, it's not brilliant. It's not a brilliant mandatory, but it's better than it's better than like just being inactive. Really, I think it depends because the only way that Zurdo against Opataya fight happens is in a Riyadh show, and I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna go in May? Are they gonna go in April? Like, but then again, can Opataya do like 3 back-to-back camps? He couldn't last time because his like calf went. Like, who knows what's gonna go on? But that is the fight at the weight. Opataya against Zurdo. I think that's the fight that should be targeted next year at some point. But who knows?
Definitely.
But yeah. Congratulations to Zurdo. That was a very, very good performance. A very, very good performance. It wasn't the chief support on that card, but the real chief support in my eyes and a lot of people's eyes. Oscar Collazo dominates knockout CP Freshmart, drops him 3 times, and stops him in the 7th round. To become the unified WBA and WBO minimum weight champion, and also picks up the Ring Magazine title in a fantastic performance, man. What a fighter Collazo is. He's a brilliant fighter.
First lineal champion in over 25 years at that weight.
Like
he's just he's like a fringe pound for pound fighter.
Yeah, what a fight! Like it's the type of thing, like if that fight was at say lightweight, there'd be no discussion about him like being in the pound for pound. Like he would be a pound for pound fighter if that was at lightweight.
If it was
Like
anything above like bantamweight,
yeah, like
he dominated a 9-year reigning world champion, like the longest reigning world champion we've had. Like it was like Akhmedov for like a while, like 7, 8 years.
yeah.
And then Freshmart's held on to this belt since 2015. And Collazo just yanked it out of us.
I do think Freshmart's legs had gone a little bit though, and I said that after the Winwood fight, like, but it was still majorly impressive. But yeah, man, Collazo looks so much bigger as well in the like.
He was like
He looks
twice
so
the
much
size.
bigger, stronger.
Yeah, I don't know
It
how
was-
he makes that weight.
It's funny that the smallest guy on the card got the only knockout on the card.
It was a brilliant performance. Like, just the body work, the jab, the composure. Like he just totally switched him off, and then put him away. It was just brilliant, man.
And he stole the show.
I really do hope. I guess it's probably unrealistic at this point for him to unify all the belts, but he said he wants to. But I feel like you could see in some performances lately that he's just not at minimum weight. He's like a little bigger than that.
I mean, he obviously must have made the weight like not good, obviously, but the best he could have made it for the knockout CP Freshmart, considering his performance. But he's gonna have to make the weight perfect every time to look good every time.
I just feel like it's unrealistic for him to rematch Jerusalem the way he did him, and I don't really think anyone's going to get up for him to fight to Duran because again, it's kind of be a whitewash.
Yeah, but is anyone gonna get up for him to fight anyone though? That's and I say that
Not unless he
as
gets up to 108 to fight
yeah,
like someone like Iwata in Japan or something like that. No one will care really.
yeah, like that's just the nature of these weights. Like no one like, and I don't want to be sort of a weight snob here because I'm really not. People that have listened to the show know I'm not. But was there any more interest in this fight or the Jerusalem fight, say, than the Gutierrez fight or the Zapata fight or the Diagan fight? You know what I mean?
This
Like,
was just a little bit different because there's like multiple belts on the line. So I
yeah,
guess compared to obviously his title defenses, they gained some traction, and people like know Collazo now, like a little bit more.
yeah.
But it's not going to generate some insane. He'd have to be on another like undercard. He couldn't like headline these. Like he could, but it would be
Yeah.
more beneficial to him to not headline
I mean,
any more
he
unification.
should. I think he should be on the cards of like reasonably big fights like this. To be honest,
Yeah, so do I.
I think it would make more sense for him. Like maybe the co-main event, maybe not so low down, or the
They
one before the co-main event.
the running order of this event was horrible, and they owe not Eduardo. I can't speak today. Edwin Cano Hernandez a shot, because if you remember, he was the original opponent before they made the Freshmart fight, so they owe him a shot as part of the contract to make the Freshmart fight. They owe Hernandez a shot. So honestly, like he said, he wants to get out in December. Do that fight in December in Puerto Rico, like, or wherever, just somewhere. Just get him out in December on a relatively big card. Like, he said he wants to go in December. Get him out in December. Like,
December as in
just
less than
no,
two,
back into
3 weeks.
December. Back
Oh,
into
God.
December. Why not? Why can't he said he wants to get out in December? So why can't you get him out on the 21st?
If he can physically do that, then sure. But I don't think he can do that physically. You can tell he is
Unless,
not. He's not like 100%. But he's.
you can get out on the 21st of December. Like, he took no damage. If you can make the weight, Hernandez is awful. Like,
It's the weight. It's not the. He
yeah,
runs
he
over Kano anyway.
yeah, and like if you owe him that fight, get him out in December.
Yeah. Look at us discussing the greatness of minimum weight.
Like,
There hasn't been a unification at this weight for 10 years since I finally got.
Well,
It
you
was
get
supposed to
some.
be a little bit competitive, but it just was.
You get some good fighters at 105. They just usually don't stay there that long, and they move up, like a Chocolatio or an Ioka. Those type of guys.
It's like those multiple weight champions that like get that belt and then just get a belt the next day. Like even like someone who doesn't have like a lot of division titles, like a Tanaka who like starts at the bottom, or like Leo Gomez who starts at the bottom and goes up. Like Kiyoguchi even still had to like move up to like from 105 to 108. Like no one's Ricardo Lopez is the only one with any type of longevity at that weight, and even at the end he still moved up. So
Yeah, and that's a criticism of his, that he didn't move up and fight the likes of Carvajal or Chiquito for the super fights.
well, I believe that Collazo will move up probably in less than
yeah,
in like a year ish to
it'll
fight
be
like
Hernandez.
Iwata or something like that, or
It'll be
Kanazawa.
Hernandez. I'll tell you what's a big fight in that region. Eric Rosa.
Yeah, he'll probably have a belt by the time he moves up too.
Like Dominican against Puerto Rico in Puerto Rico or DR. Like, that's a relatively big fight, and it's WBA. They'll have the ranking with the WBA as soon as they go up. Like, it's a very very good fight, and it's a big fight for that region. I think in those weights.
So all those fights between the people who are fighting for the vacant title, so it'll be like Prodisby, Canazales, Rosa, and then like the current champions, Ibuki and Iwata. Ibuki probably won't be at like lightweight by the time he moves up. But everybody else, those are pretty good fights.
Watt is big for the weight though. I don't know
Yeah,
if Watt will be. Yeah,
he might not also be there. But
yeah,
Rosa just moved up. Prodisby
yeah.
just moved up, and
Canizares is like mid-30s, so he's not going to go anywhere now.
yeah, this is just him.
Yeah, he's 31. I thought he was older than that. Canizares. I've just checked.
Kind of looks older than that.
Yeah,
Kinshira probably aged him a little.
yeah. But yeah, it's just what a performance by Collazo, man. Brilliant fighter.
Yeah, the next fight, we should just talk about it real quick. Oh man.
Jose Ramirez against Arnold Barboza. To me, this was this was a fight between a has been and a never has been. That the never has been
Never
just had a
will
little
be.
bit more. Like
Yeah,
it was just.
never will be because man, he's not that
But
good of a.
like you could tell Ramirez whenever Ramirez put a little bit of his sort of prime together, he was levels above, but he just couldn't do it for more than about 20 seconds.
If that. Really.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Even
Ramirez
then,
was shot and he's weight drained and he's
I
done.
still had it even as I scored it, but I thought Barboza. If there was to pick a winner, I'd pick Barboza because he landed like the cleaner punches, but he wasn't. They both were poor.
I didn't score it.
Well,
No,
I scored it. I had a Barboza winning 6-4, but look,
should be
I
a
mean,
no contest.
it was a Barboza fight, wasn't it? That's just how it was. Like he fought how he always fights, and Ramirez couldn't fight how he always fights because he's very drained and washed. And
Can't cut off a ring anymore.
as happens when you spend most of your career at 140, and now you're in your mid 30s, you have to move up.
Jack Hatchell might stop Barboza.
That would be such a bad fight. Like
Yeah.
Who's going to come forward in that fight?
nobody. Or the way
So
Barboza fights, Jack Harrow's gonna look like Roberto Duran with the pressure because Barboza just doesn't come forward ever, and it's just not good to watch.
it's a sad state of affairs when two of the leading super lightweight contenders are Jack Hatchell and Arnold Barboza. And Richards and Hitchens you can throw into that as well. Like it's just not good. Like
Horrible fighters to watch. Catterall finally showed he has a little watchability after the Procare fight, but even for most of the fight, he was being
yeah.
aggravated. But Barboza's never had watchability. Like, and Hitchens has never had watchability. Like they're both bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
whose idea was it to put that on the co-main event?
Disgusting. That should have been untelevised. How bad that was.
Yeah, I mean,
I
in
really
every
don't
other
want to
fight,
talk.
yeah, every other fight was like good, and then this happened.
Even the Almaayouf fight was good.
Yeah, that was a good list.
But yeah, enough about that. I just don't want to talk about Arnold Barboza any longer. Ramirez was fun a few years ago in a division that I thought was slightly overrated at the time, but he was involved in fun fights. Now he's shot, and Barboza's just. Oh, no, let's move on. William-Zepeda takes a split decision over Tevin Farmer over 10 rounds. Gets dropped by a 34-year-old Tevin Farmer who has 8 knockouts in 33 wins.
He fought like a jackass.
He fought like he always fights, but he just came up against someone that can move and is not going to just quit when he throws a few body shots at him.
No, but this time he just didn't throw many body shots at all. He just said, "You know what? The best thing I'm known for is pressure, stamina, in my body shots. I'm only going to use the pressure," which then got him to run into counters like damn near every round, and
But
got him dropped.
He does that though. That's just what he is. He does run into counters constantly. Like
No,
that's
but then
just the
he
fighter that
like
he
breaks
is.
people down with these body shots, and he just didn't do. He just was trying to hit a pretty damn good defensive fighter. Like if Farmer is nothing, like he doesn't have much power. He doesn't like. He's not like super special in any department. His defense will always like be pretty damn good. And you
I mean,
decide you want to try to hit his head. Be serious.
like Farmer's got some good attributes. Obviously, his defense. I mean, his footwork is good. He's got really good timing. And
Like his upper body movement. Like you should know to not only try to hit his head for not 80% of the fight.
Yeah, because I mean, even when it looked like Zepeda was landing clean on him, I mean, he's rolling with these shots. They're not landing flush.
He was so frustrated.
That's why these
to watch.
punches weren't having the effect that they do on other fighters.
And and I think Zepeda was a little bit wary of what was coming back at him
Especially
for the
after
first time in
getting
a long time.
dropped. Like,
Yeah, I there was
your,
a big left hand
your
early
first
on.
career knockdown to Tevin Farmer. Like,
No, it wasn't. He's been dropped before.
man.
But
Yeah, well,
I remember he got dropped. He got dropped
yeah,
by.
I think he did because I saw someone say he
It
did.
must have been like a
No,
really
no, he
long time
definitely
ago.
did. No, it wasn't that long ago. I'll tell you the fight he got dropped in.
It wasn't
Let's check box
Alvarado.
rec. It
Was it?
was. Where was it?
Oh, I think I know what
Um,
I do know what you're talking about. It was like a Mexican card.
was it Luis Angel Viedas?
I think it was. I do remember
Yeah,
that. I think I dropped in like the
yeah. It
first
was. It
round.
was. It was. It was. It was. I
But
remember
no,
that card.
yeah,
Munguia on the card.
regardless, like even that opponent's not good either. So you're getting dropped
Yeah,
by people you shouldn't be getting dropped by because you're fighting. I remember that fight like pretty good now.
yeah,
He was fighting like a jackass in there too. He's just chucking punches
yeah.
with
And he
nothing,
ran
like
into
no.
something and got dropped on the ropes. Yeah,
Like
But
you need to
that
like
knockdown was
show,
avoidable. He stood there in
just
front of
let
Tevin
him
Farmer
take.
with his hand down and just stood there for a second. And Farmer's like, "Oh, okay."
he kept getting
Interesting.
caught with it. He kept getting caught with the same shot. There was a point early on, and I remember I said on the group chat like I think Farmers just stunned him, like
Yeah,
because he took a shot and then he instantly started holding on, and you never see Zepeda holding on really. And, like he took a big left hand, then like fell in a little bit and held on, and it's like the exact same shot. He just didn't learn,
I mean, it's like he has negative reflexes. He just doesn't see them coming.
and he didn't look physically strong either. Like maybe it's a weight issue because like I don't know,
It
but
might
like
Look,
be
he's really
just
didn't.
the thing with most of these fighters is they're all drained, and until they get closer to their natural weight, you're probably not going to see the best of them.
and that's really why some of these like top fighters don't even fight like that many times a year because they're not fighting. They're like trying to get themselves down to nearly
Yeah,
the brink to just fight. Like there needs to be like rules set like at some point for these fighters to not I guess not be fighting at your walk around weight, but like 10 pounds under that, not like 30, 40 pounds under your walk around weight. That's insane.
Look, I mean, I've always seen it as if you're rehydrating more than like 12 pounds, you shouldn't be at that weight, to be honest.
Yeah, rehydration is a big one. Like these fighters that rehydrate 20 to 25 pounds. What are you doing? Like one, you're this is just unprofessional and stupid. But you're like trying. You're like on the brink of like killing yourself,
Look,
like
because
doing
it's
this.
dangerous for them and it's dangerous for their opponent, depending on who they fight.
Like you're draining yourself, and then you're like fluctuating your weight like an insane amount to like, and then to take punches,
Yeah,
which
because
you shouldn't be doing anyway.
like I know they get 36 hours to rehydrate, but 36 hours is still not enough to fully get back like
oh,
fully healthy. That's why you see people when they take a long beating and they usually rehydrate. I mean, they're usually dehydrated when they get like brain damage or something happens to them at the ring. Dehydration, man.
yeah, but I don't think they take the Shakur fight. You know,
They shouldn't at that point. Like,
they should because
well, they
he's
should because
27.
I
Like
still want to see it, but like I don't think he has like a feasible chance anymore. Like I thought he did before.
I always thought Shakur was gonna comprehensively outbox him, and like I still
I
think
thought it
that
would have been.
now.
I thought it would have been a little bit closer. I thought he would have like struggled like maybe in the early rounds, and then just just cleanly like counterpunched him for like most of it. I don't I don't see Zepeda like starting up anything. Like he won't get
Yeah,
a chance to like. begin anything.
I mean, I've always seen that as
It'll
one
just
that
be resetting the entire fight.
yeah, that's a terrible matchup for Zepeda. I mean, that's the thing with these one-dimensional fighters. When it's not working, they can't do anything else.
There's no plan B.
They can't do
You know, I
anything
was
else.
thinking watching this. You know what I was thinking.
Hmm.
This fight would never happen, but my God, Tank's team should have sent an offer.
They
Yeah,
probably still
he
will.
should. He
That
would.
that that that
He
long
would do.
sort of looping overhand left would have cleaned Zepeda out if Gervonta
Yeah,
Davis threw it.
he would do
Like,
some disgusting things to Zepeda because Tank is another guy who also rolls with punches. It looks like you're hitting him clean. He's
yeah.
taking like half the sting off the punch.
And like I said on the preview episode, they've been keeping him away from punches for a reason. Like he has never been in with a puncher. Like Rene Alvarado was pinging him, and they said no, we're not putting him in with anyone that can punch.
And he could even, if Gervonta was to fight Zepeda, he could even fight like how Farmer fought. Like he could let
Yeah,
Zepeda just chuck a bunch of punches. Like I know the only person who's been able to like truly do that is Santa Cruz, but he didn't like punch hard enough for him to really care about like what's coming at him. But with Zepeda, he could literally just counter punch him while sitting right in front of him the entire fight.
there's so many openings.
There's too
Like
many.
Maxie Hughes was finding loads of openings, man, when he was getting pummeled. Like, and Maxie Hughes just can't punch, and he's small, and he was like 35. But Maxie Hughes was finding openings, and he was hitting Zepeda clean. It's just he couldn't stop Zepeda coming forward and throwing loads.
Like the punch stats would literally look like 5-1, like in Cepeda's favor, but it wouldn't matter because
Yeah,
that one counter punch that Gervonta is going to land is going to be harder than all the flurries that Cepeda can throw,
Yeah, and
body or head.
I don't think most of the punches won't land anyway. To be honest.
I know he'll just be throwing to throw, really, like usual. But
Yeah, it's what a lot of people do when they keep missing to the head. They'll keep throwing to the head, throwing to the head. Then I'll think, actually, maybe let me go to the body. I can't hit the head. You'll be like,
yeah,
no, I've got to hit the head.
he just pretend like he just ignored that you could do that in this farmer fight. You know it's legal to punch the body, right, Willie? Like what was he like? He just fought such a stupid fight and almost lost a split decision to a 2024 Tevin Farmer. Where are we? What?
I thought you won it pretty clearly enough, but
I know I don't think Farmer won, but it's like on
I
the resume now, it's gonna look like you.
yeah
It was
yeah
still an
I know what you
insane
mean.
fight. They
I know what
threw
you mean.
however many punches, but they threw
It was
like
still very competitive, and
1,700 punches or something insane thing like that.
it was a really good fight. But you're just disappointed that Zepeda's having really, really good fights at this level when he's meant to be the next heir apparent and he's meant to go and bat his record. And he's having competitive fights at this level. You know what really annoys me though? Now, if the Shakur fight happens and Shakur stands him on his head, Shakur's gonna get no credit.
He'll get a little bit,
When
but he won't get what he probably should get.
24 hours ago, Shakur like winning a wide decision against William Zepeda and dealing with him pretty easily, you like would have been this unbelievable pound for pound level win. Like
Yeah,
now
they
it's
would have
not
had
going to
him
be
on the
that.
fringe. They would have had him
Yeah,
on the fringe. But
yeah,
now it's
but
cooked.
yeah. And it's
Yeah,
unfortunate, but that's
I
just
That would
don't.
have been
Yeah,
like one of those other fights for him to fight if he wasn't to fight a champion. But now that's kind of like fizzled a little.
it's what a poor performance can do.
Just break all the future apart.
Yeah, because like him struggling with Farmer, like fair enough. But I mean, he didn't even look good in doing so. I mean, he could have like looked a bit better. Like, okay, fair enough. Farmer's a crafty guy.
But then you also got dropped,
Yeah, he gets dropped.
gets hurt other times.
I mean, there
Like
just seems to there's like no really much thought about what he does. He just throws.
it's like he's like regressed. Like he was like kind of like the JoJo fight was pretty impressive. When it like happened, and then him like beating Cabrera, even though Cabrera's not like super good, but he did like arguably beat Cruz. He stopped him in less than 10 minutes, so it was like decent. And then Hughes like 5 rounds. But you're like one, you're going the distance with Farmer, like which was already not a favorite like thing. But then you're also getting dropped by him. And on the record, it shows you had a split decision, like going basically life and death with like nearing 2,000 punches thrown with it.
You know, like I don't
Like
even
you
know.
let him match the pace on like he fought your fight almost and dropped you.
I mean,
It's
it's
a
definitely not
horrible.
good look. I don't even know if it's him regressing. I just think they were favorable style matchups for him, and can't punch again. Fires that can't punch.
Like
That aren't
Cabrera,
that good
Hughes,
defensively,
yeah,
or
they're
not
like
like
boxer types
physically
with not
strong.
great chin.
Yeah, like a
Cabrera and
Yeah.
Hughes
Maxi Hughes who can box, but I mean, he's
hurt you.
not gonna put up
And
much of
another
a
super featherweight, really, Maxi Hughes.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then like
Farmer
no one's
too.
been like really crafty with like a good ring IQ and good defense
Until
to
Farmer.
really test him. I just think this is just how he fights, and he came up against someone with some tools to give him some trouble, and he couldn't figure it out. Like, he got it done, but
I wonder what.
let's say if that was like a 2019 farmer, is he winning that fight? Probably not. No.
Or no, he won't be able to land like anything. Like he like got to land like his usual flurries at time. 20 like pre-COVID Farmer was kind of nice with the defense. Like I know he like fought like Tennyson and like Frenois, so they're like not great opponents, but he like handily like beat them. Like that 2019 version of Farmer would like probably be too like just be too good and too like accurate. Like he was
Yeah,
still crazy accurate in this fight.
yeah, like if you're
You want to
losing
know
like
something?
hold on a sec, if you're losing like 3 rounds and getting dropped to Farmer in 2024, it's highly unlikely you're going to beat a prime time Farmer, even though prime time Farmer is super featherweight.
Yeah.
You want to know something?
Yes.
2024 Tevin Farmer is significantly better than Lamont Roach.
It's fun. It's like really funny to hear that because
No,
some of
but
these
it's true.
champions,
It's true.
no, I'm not like most of like these Roach performances haven't been like one his title defense McCory like it's not a good opponent, and then like the Garcia fight was just not that good, and he arguably lost and got like a fake knockdown at the end. He is one of the worst champions in boxing. No shade, but
Look,
Farmer is pretty damn good though. So.
maybe Davis should fight Devin Farmer instead of Lamont Roach. Because that was a fight that should have happened back in the day and it didn't happen.
No,
Now's the
that's what I
time.
was saying. It still has a little backstory to it, but it's still like goofy. Like you should
Yeah, he shouldn't. But
you should,
you
but
He
know,
should
it's
fight.
one
He should fight neither of them.
thing
but
that was worrying for Zepeda, I really thought his stamina was off, man. His stamina wasn't what it normally is. Like he dropped off a lot late on. I felt anyway. I felt he dropped off quite a bit. Like the steam was off his punches. Like everything, a lot of it just wasn't going well together late on.
Yeah, because I mean, you see with these guys that have like really good stamina and throw loads of punches, like they can do that forever. But when it's not like going their own way and they're not fighting their own fight, they just seem to slow down and not show as good stamina.
But yeah, it was really a poor performance, man. Like it's not good. It's really not good.
Like assessing his performance is very poor, but the whole fight as a whole, really good fight to watch.
Yeah,
And
like
I mean,
1,800 punches. Yeah, 10 rounders is crazy.
yeah, I mean, I was way more impressed with Tevin Farmer than Zepeda. I'm kind of intrigued to see who Ten Farmer's going to fight because I mean he still has something left. Like
Definitely.
he can test these guys and maybe even beat these guys, like the prospects or the contenders, lower level contenders, like I don't know, the Schofield or if they want to be bold,
Oh, he beat
Abdullah Mason.
Schofield.
Abdullah Mason.
Based on past performances, Fargo would beat Silva.
Yeah. I'd like to see. This is going to sound really, really weird. But Tevin Farmer, if you're going for a fight that isn't him just being served up to a prospect, if you're going to a fight that will like propel him further on in his career, Tevin Farmer against Nicholas Waters. Now tell me that isn't a pro box main event.
It's goofy, but sure.
That's a pro box main event, man.
It's super goofy, but that I could literally see that. With a
Tevin
red
Farmer
poster.
against Miguel Berchelt. How about that?
All right.
That's a lot worse at this point of his career.
Move on.
I mean, I think he beats the Axeman anyway, but
I think, but in reality, I think Andy Cruz would be a good fight for him.
yeah, that would be a good fight for him.
Be a good step up for Andy Cruz, and it's a fight that Antonio Moran had Cruz hurt. Like Tevin Farmer can definitely have success in that fight. But yeah, it was a very good fight, but a very poor performance from Zepeda, as you say. Moving on, another really, really good fight. Like I really enjoyed this card, apart from Ramirez against Barboza. Oscar Duarte takes a UD against Bader Akhmedov in a fantastic fight. I really, really enjoyed this fight. A toe-to-toe war. Both stood in the pocket at short range and just threw
They nearly
bombs.
did 1,800 punches.
Yeah.
Just like the Farmer Zepeda. Again, with Akhmedov, man, it's just like
The
it just
judges,
gets too
the
close.
judges hate him because he's always in his close fights and he always ends up losing. I mean, look, I didn't see too many people having Duarte winning that fight.
He has a 10-4 record. He should probably be a world champion right now, or
Yeah.
at least like former world champion right now.
He should be a former world champion
He-
at least.
I thought he clearly beat Barrios. I thought he clearly beat Puello is like the widest one, like to me. He definitely should have beat Puello. And that was the world title fight. I thought the Sims fight was really close, but like probably Sims. And then this fight, I had it a draw, but I feel like if you were to give it to someone, like Akhmedov just like had cleared it work the entire fight. Like this. He's really unfortunate to not come out of a win out of all four of those fights.
Yeah, because like Duarte, the Golden Boy fighter, and you have the commentary and Gabe Rosado saying they thought Akhmedov won. I mean,
I scored the
like,
fight 95.
Yeah, me too. Like these scorecards, man. Like
The scorecards were horrible.
they
But
never
the
gave him
96,
so you
94,
can't give him a chance. Like he's like
96, 94 was fair.
he's
But
taking
the other two were just horrific.
insane damage, and all four of these fights were like crazily good to watch. That he's lost. He like taking so much to not even be given the chance to win when you only give him 2 rounds in the fight that he arguably should have won. Like you can't be serious. Like he's so unlucky. Like, he's one of the most unlucky fighters like in boxing. Really, he should not be 10-4. Like minimum, he should be like 12-2.
yeah.
The judge that gave it 98-92 scored the Zepeda Farmer fight to Farmer.
So that like
That makes zero sense.
that
And
makes sense to how bad he like the judges like
And he was also the judge that gave Almaayouf the win in his fight.
Jesus Christ. Yo.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Get him
Yeah.
out of here.
And looking
Like,
through his record, looking through the judge's record, like this is his first, or he's done like the vast majority of his fights have been domestic level in Korea. Actually, he did Beterbiev Yard. What did he score Beterbiev Yard?
He probably gave.
He had Anthony
he had
Yard up
Oh my,
68-65
oh
against
my
after
God.
Beterbiev.
Like, what's the point, man?
So yeah, this judge,
Oh, I'm looking now. He also judged Vargas ball and gave it 116, 110 ball. So he's a notoriously bad judge.
yeah, Jesus
Like,
Christ.
ugh, it's just a stain. Like, seeing this in boxing is so disgusting. When you like, they're just not given a chance before the fight even starts. Like, it's just like already written that you're not. It's not happening. It's not happening today. And for 4 of his biggest fights, it just didn't ever happen. Like, he never got.
Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, the inactivity for Akhmedov was always a worry. I mean, if he wasn't as inactive, I mean, because he lost that fight in like the championship with the last 2 rounds.
even if he just had a camp for this fight, he might have won.
Yeah, because I mean, he just couldn't sustain or keep Duarte off him for the last couple rounds, really. Like, you could see, like, it was just getting to him. It just looked like it was getting to him and getting to him. All the punches he was taking and the body punches. But he's just so tough that he just kept on fighting. Like, if he could move like he was doing more in the first half of the fight. If he'd fought in the last year, he could have taken the fight. I mean, well, he couldn't have because he was given 2 rounds and 3 rounds on one card, but
It was just, it's just, it's unfortunate.
yeah, like what's even the point of him turning up to get given 2 rounds and 3 rounds in a fight? That,
What
well,
they should have got given to him.
like I had it even. Most people seem to have him winning, and a couple people had Duarte winning, like 6-4.
It's just not good. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's
It's
unfortunate because like that is a great fight, and we spent half of the time talking about how bad the judging was.
yeah.
When it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, like that.
When if it
Yeah.
was a draw, then this conversation really wouldn't be had. But 2 judges gave
If
him
96,
wide
94 3 times to Duarte, even that, like 96, 94 is fine. Like, it's about as wide as you can have it to Duarte, but it's palatable.
Yeah, then we're sitting here saying, "Oh yeah, great fight. Duarte is relentless. Akhmedov showed a
Yeah.
better skill early on, but Duarte just wouldn't stop. Just took it in the last couple of rounds."
No, but now we gotta mask it over the disgusting parts of boxing. I hate doing that. It's like we have to do that like multiple times a week. Have to talk about how bad a referee is or a judge is or multiple judges are. It's just annoying. It's really aggravating.
More poor judges. Ziad Almaayouf had a really good fight against Carlos Ramirez Garcia. It's a really entertaining fight, but when Carlos Ramirez Garcia clearly won it, like clearly, he won a minimum of four clear rounds,
He reminded
arguably
me of
5.
he reminded me of Julio Cesar Martinez the way he was fighting.
Yeah,
I thought I didn't get to watch like the first couple rounds, but I seen like the comments, and I didn't see a singular person thinking that it was wider than 4-2 to
yeah.
Ramirez.
it was bad. Like, it was a really good fight. It's just horrible judging. Horrible judging.
It was a really good fight. Man, this card was really good.
The stain,
It-
that Ramirez Barboza stain is huge because of how high up the card it was. But as the card, like as a total, was pretty damn good.
I really enjoyed
Multiple
it.
great fights and the couple great performances.
Yeah, because I mean,
Two great
even
fights,
like
two great performances.
even Ramirez, Billam-Smith, that was entertaining. Even if it was a really good performance from Zurdo, that was an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
And when you have like a one-sided dominant fight like Collazo, I mean they're fine, they're entertaining, and because he looked so good, we can have a dominant performance, have a like pound for pound level performance against the next best in the division as well.
It was, yeah. Yeah, man. It was a really good event. It was just really weird, like how no one was there. If like they've got to sort something out with this sort of atmosphere thing, man. Like 200 people, nobody really cared about the fight. No one was like it was just all really weird. The whole feeling of that fight was really, really weird.
Yeah, there was like no one in the crowd, and half the crowd were Newcastle players, and they obviously got like everything paid for them, probably, to come there.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the ownership at Newcastle.
Yeah,
But it's sad because I guess these fights deserve people to be there watching them.
yeah, because I mean we've seen loads of Billam-Smith fights. I mean the atmospheres at his fights are great. They're always great. And how many of his fans could really travel for this fight and be there? Not many,
Oh, yeah.
as we saw.
The local Saudi population just aren't buying into boxing. They're just not. Like, it's unfortunate, but they're just not buying into the sport.
Yeah. And that's fine. There's countries where boxing is popular or more popular than Saudi. Fight between a Mexican and a British guy that you call Latino, like being in Saudi Arabia, doesn't make much sense, does it?
It it's just unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Like, I mean, that really should have been in Mexico or like California or Texas, somewhere with a high Latino population.
Yep. Anyway, like there's a lot of good things. Like it's like we said, like there's good and bad things about him. Like and the Saudi involvement. It was a really good night of fights, but there's nobody's seen it. Like the live viewership on this and compare it to the Friday night live stream. Like nobody's watching it. Like
Look,
and it's sad.
I'm not even giving him credit for these fights. He didn't put them on, and he didn't fight the fights. Like these are Golden Boy fights, and I don't know who the matchmaker is now. I can't remember, but it's that guy
Rick
and the
Laser.
fighters. Is it actually still Rick Laser? Jesus Christ! I thought he'd stop
Yeah,
doing
well,
it.
he does part. Yeah, no, he does some of them.
Yeah, because they have another guy that they
Yeah,
got as the front guy after they got rid of Diaz. And look, this isn't Turkey. He deserves no credit for this card. Look, if he's got so much money, why didn't he just like pay some random people to just fill up the arena?
who knows, man? Who knows? But we mentioned it. Let's move on to Friday. Mega event. Um, we'll start off with the main fight we're going to talk about. Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano. Katie Taylor taking a UD in what apparently I've seen a lot. It was either a robbery or I've seen a lot of debate, I should say, about this fight.
Look, I'm not going to call it a robbery, but it's a controversial decision.
Again,
I mean, I don't think the first one was controversial.
it definitely was.
No, it definitely wasn't. Kate Taylor easily could have won that first fight, and I had her winning. This
I
one,
didn't. I had her winning too. I'm saying it wasn't.
no,
You're
this
not.
is way more controversial than the
I
first
didn't
fight.
say that it was less or more. They both were though. They were both talked about as being like fights that should have gone to Serrano. And I feel like this one probably should have went to Serrano.
Well, I mean, it should have on my card. I mean, I had a 6-4 to Serrano, and that
That's a
makes it
point deduction.
96-93. But I mean, let's say I give that round a 9-9, which it definitely could have been. I gave it 10-8. I mean, I only have a winning by a point. And then if I give Katie Taylor one of the close round,
Yeah, so if you
that's her winning.
swing 3 rounds around, then yes, the other
That's not
person will
swinging
win.
3 rounds. That's
2.5 rounds.
2 rounds. Yeah, it's just her winning a round that she could have won, but got a point taken away, and then just giving her another round.
Again, it was close again, but like,
Because I have no problem with those cards, really. I mean, they were only a point in it.
I just
But Serrano, I mean, to come out of these fights with no wins when she could have two, and probably should have at least one. I mean, she's got to feel really hard done by.
Taylor's gotten a lot of decisions that she probably shouldn't have gotten.
Well,
She
she
should
she
at the
should have
like
lost the first Pursuit fight. I mean, I thought she won the second one, but I guess loads of people think she lost that as well. She could have lost the first Serrano fight, and probably should have lost
She
the
beat
second one.
Natasha Jonas by a point on 2 cards.
that was close too, but those are not nearly as controversial as the Pursuit and Serrano fights. And then the second Cameron fight where she should have got points deducted for holding for like half the fight. You know, she should like maybe have like 6 losses like with these
Yeah,
like
because like this
decisions
point
she's got.
that she got deducted wasn't even ball holding, and she was doing loads of that. It was for the headbutts.
She should probably have more losses, more than 1 loss. Honestly, she's probably at like 4.
Look, it's just what she's just perfected these 2-minute rounds, and like I don't want to say she steals rounds, but she kind of does.
Yeah, that's what I'm
She
saying.
just
People give her a lot of credit for these flurries. Like in the later in the fight, she was landing like an insane amount of punches on Serrano. But like, man, like people shouldn't give like as much credit for like just flurries, man. Like it's like a lot of them don't land. A lot of them is just they're like flashy, but they're not all scoring. And she's gotten
like
a credit for a lot of those in a lot of her fights.
yeah, like a lot do land because these people have no defense. But when they're trading and they're both landing, like you have to favor Serrano's punches because they're heavier and they're doing more damage. She punches harder, and they were having more effect. I mean, she was
She's
hurting
getting hurt like
Taylor
multiple times.
much more
It's just
than Serrano got hurt, which I think
just
she got hurt like a couple
irritating
times herself. But
that Serrano, like even though how great of a fighter, like great of a women's fighter she is, like the only time she got to the very top of like her game, she like didn't get what she probably should have gotten 2 times. MSG and this like big Paul Tyson card. She just sat there with no wins out of either. And that just, I bet that just sucked. That's probably like a semi nail in the coffin. So like, who's she gonna fight? Who's she gonna fight now? Like, there's no demand for anything else. Her best fights are against this one woman that she's lost to twice now. So
Like, there will be a demand for a third fight, but I'm pretty sure Katie Taylor said she doesn't owe her anything. She's 2-0 against her and is not going to do it.
and like in her shoes, she probably is right. She's like,
I mean, I
I
wouldn't.
got to a decision of these two treacherous fights. I don't want to go through that a third time. I don't care how good the
She
money.
takes, like, beings. Like, she gives out a lot herself, but man, she takes a lot of punches against Serrano.
She's taking insane punches against Pursoon and Serrano, and she probably needs to like retire.
Yeah, she probably does need to retire. She's like 38 or something, 37.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, she probably should retire. Like it will be a stain, like multiple stains on her, but she's a pretty great fighter.
I mean, she might be the greatest, to be honest. I mean,
I know, but she just has a hell of a lot of asterisks on her resume. But regardless, she's a great fighter.
because I mean, no other female fighter has beaten the competition that she has beat. Right? There are better female fighters than her, but the competition, she's just beating the
Yeah,
best
like the
competition.
higher weights are not as great. It's funny because most of in the men's divisions, the higher weight classes, like the higher half of the weight classes are like greater, but then the women's like the
Yeah, it's like featherweight to like 140 or lightweight. They're the best divisions because they have the deepest talent. And the rest of the division, especially the high ones, they got like 35.
but great fight list, but yes, they're Taylor's probably not gonna fight again, and I don't see where Serrano would want to fight again unless he just fights
Well,
indescript fights that we don't really.
Serrano's probably not fighting for a while. Look at the cut
Yeah,
she has.
that cut probably should.
That's one of the worst cuts I've ever seen. And if that wasn't like the magnitude of the fight, that is getting stopped.
It would have got stopped in the fourth round, and she probably would have won. To be honest, I wonder how the scorecards looked like at the time of that cut when it got wider. It was she got a cut originally. I think it was in the fourth round, so it just would have been a no contest. But it got even bigger in like round like 7 or something like that.
Yeah,
And she was probably winning at that point.
Like I don't think like they're on purpose, but it's just
She's not
like,
trying to headbutt her. But
her footwork is just decline, and what she does, she just plants her feet, kind of squares up, and just lets her punches go, and she's falling over her punches, and then she just leads with a hit, and it kept happening, and it kept happening. Also, you know, orthodox southpaw heads do come together a lot, but it was more to do with just the decline in her like footwork and her balance.
well, hope she retires because she's taken a hell of a lot of punches and a lot of great women's fights. But
Yeah, that we can agree on.
Yeah, like maybe she could like have one last fight against some lesser.
I don't think there's any need for that.
In
To be
Ireland
honest,
just to go out. I think
really
she'd want to do that, to be honest.
yeah, but I don't think anyone else would.
And they would show up. They like Katie Taylor in Ireland.
I guess someone has to.
Right, well, you won't be there, but other people will.
Moving on. Mario Barrios against Abel Ramos. Terrible. Like a good fight.
the fight was crazy, low key. But
Yeah, the fight was great. But
why are you trading knockdowns and going life and death with Abel Ramos in 2024? What are we doing? I think he should have got the decision. By the way, like I don't think it should.
Yeah, I thought he clearly won the fight. Yeah, I thought it was like an 8-4, 7-5 Barrios win.
He won like the
clearly.
first like 5 rounds plus
Yeah.
the knockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought he was gonna look good. And like, after the first 3 rounds, I was like, okay, this is not a bad performance.
I thought he was gonna stop Ramos like pretty.
Then after the
early.
knockdown, it just the script completely flipped. He looked terrible.
I'm surprised he didn't go down again. Like after his knockdown, he was getting hit with insane punches, and it's like multiple fights in a row now. His face has like just morphed into some like movie type makeup looking stuff. It's like really like horrible how bad his face looks at the end of these fights.
Yeah,
He's
With fighters, he
regressing.
should not be going like this.
He's regressing badly. He's only 29, but he's regressing, man.
look, I
He's
mean,
boiling down to 140 for far too long.
I
Like,
had like high hopes for him after Ugas, and I was like, okay, I'll see what he looks like in this fight. Changed my mind completely. Ugas was just a favorable style matchup against an absolute wash file.
And then Maidana, horrible. He was horrible in that fight.
and I don't like to sort of do this, like going back and like, well, he beat him and like he went and did this, but Ugas got stopped by Spence and had about one good moment against Spence, yeah. And Spence looked totally washed against Crawford. Like, no punch resistance or anything. And Ugas got pretty comprehensively beaten up by him.
It's like a lot of resumes kind of
Yeah,
got hit with an asterisk yesterday, the day before yesterday.
yeah.
Gervonta's, Spence's, they just all got hit with an asterisk. Just
Like Mario Barrios, like, man, like
he is not
he
world
he
champion.
keeps looking really good early on as well. Like Maidana,
He was whooping on Maidana early.
like he was beating up Maidana up, dropped him in the third round. Yeah, 2 third-round knockdowns in a row. So no, Ramos was second round, but like early knockdowns,
Yeah, but falls
and
like off
then
a
he
cliff.
just falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, he also arguably dropped Ramos in the first as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
I think his glove touched the canvas, but
I
go on.
thought he should like. I know Ramos has only been stopped like once. I think like however many years ago, like 10 years ago. He probably should have stopped him. Like instead, you have a draw on your resume, even though you probably shouldn't have it. But like,
Yeah,
like it's not
and
a good look.
Barrios looked more
Wh-
likely to
When
get
you get
dropped.
dropped, and you get drawn into a fight like that against Abel Ramos, like you can't really complain. If it's like a 7-5, 8-4 that gets scored a draw, you can't really complain. You should have made it wider. He should have made that fight wider. Like
He shouldn't have
after
got to the scorecards to make it to know if it was
after the
like.
first five, the minimum requirement there is that you sort of coast to a very, very wide decision. That's the minimum requirement. You don't get dragged into a war like he did.
Like even if he didn't stop him, because Ramos is pretty damn tough. He should have won like a 10-2 decision.
Yeah.
Instead,
Yeah,
one of these judges gave the fight to Ramos. Like that's how bad you look, and you got dropped, and you
yeah,
probably like you almost got dropped multiple times after the first knockdown, and your face looked like you had been like beat with a sledgehammer. It was like disgusting. This should
yeah.
never be happening
I mean,
in this year against this opponent.
yeah, with that size advantage, what is he doing in range to be hit with that right hand at home and then drops him? What's he doing?
It's ridiculous
You
how
don't
good
just
he
stand
was
in range.
at length, like in the beginning 5 rounds.
Like you're like twice his size. You do not stand in range.
Just wait to be hit.
I mean, it was a good shot.
It was a,
It was a
those
good
both
shot.
those knockdowns are kind of crazy. And the fight was pretty damn it's
I
pretty damn, but it shouldn't have been. That's like the basic point about this. There shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been a war. Like that's not what. fight should have been.
Yeah, I mean, because this is basically
Barrios' card is now marked.
yeah. I mean, this is
You
basically
go.
like
You go.
Zepeda against Farmer, where they don't perform that good and they go life and death.
But against a much lower level opponent.
And they get
So it's
dropped.
like, all right, I
Yeah.
enjoyed the fight, but like,
Yeah,
why?
like pros, great fight. Con, your performance
Should have
was
been.
not very good.
He's the weak link. He's worse than Norman, and Norman and him are trending in different directions. Like he's card's marked, man. He's there. Stanionis, like, go after him, like, because Stanionis beats the brakes off him and stops him. Like, anyone at 140 that wants a belt, like Devin Haney, for example, would school him. Like, a lot of these guys, you know, like Regis Prograis, if he wants this shot at 147, like, as ridiculous as that sounds, Regis Prograis probably beats him.
I'm not
Like,
going to chin for that anymore, but it's like fighters that shouldn't be in the ring with Barrios, I guess, have a chance to be in the ring with Barrios because he's not that good.
I mean, Prograis would probably look better at 147. He does at 150. I mean, 140. So who knows? I mean, I think Prograis should retire, but still. Look, isn't every champion at 147 an email champion
Yep.
upgraded?
Mm-hmm.
That's a disgrace.
yeah.
You love box.
I hate that. I hate nothing more than a fight being upgraded.
Well,
Win your title in the ring.
It's not their fault. Sanctioning bodies are disgusting.
I mean, Stanionis did sort of win his title in the ring.
It's like Stanionis like kind of deserved his win.
Stanionis won his title in the ring. It's just a rubbish title that now means something because the super title is no more. So it's like he's got the same title, but it doesn't mean anything different. Like it's one of those ones. You know what I mean? Like it's just the state of boxing. But yeah, Stanionis or Ennis or like anyone needs to chase that Barrios fight because all the three champions knock him out, I think. Stanionis is way too technical. Boots is way too explosive. Brian Norman's way too physical.
I don't even know with Ennis anymore. I don't even want to see him be a welterweight again.
I don't either, but like Ennis would not Barrios out. Let's not like let's not play with that. Like
So I really want Stanionis to get a big fight.
Stanionis Barrios would be like you look at the way PBC works. Stanionis Barrios would be perfect for like an undercard of I don't know, like a Canelo fight or a Tank fight or something like that. It'd be perfect chief support for that.
Yeah. Is what I want expeditiously. Because welterweight's damn near dying off. There needs to be some life in it.
There needs to be some sort of fights, but like I doubt there will be.
Hope so. Just got one fight left.
Yeah. Bruce Carrington. I thought this was quite a good performance. You know, I wasn't too alarmed with it.
You know, I'm not. I picked a knockout, and I kind of thought he was gonna get the knockout, but Coolwell just had an insane shin. Like if it was like a longer fight, he would have. It was a 10-rounder. He would have stopped him. So it doesn't really change for me. He looked pretty damn good, especially after that horrible Sagawa performance.
Yeah.
He
Like
needed
it was just a case of levels. This fight, like he was levels above, and the exposure this got him how quickly he was out after Sagawa. Like it did a lot of good to him.
Yeah. He needed that like desperately for his confidence in his career.
Yep. Yeah, like I still think he's a good fighter, but like there's a lot of it's boxing. There's always a lot of talk when you've got a good young fighter that's he's not even young, but sort of a good fighter coming through that's knocking a few people out. There's always this hype behind him. Like, oh, but he's still very very good, but he's not what he was being taught up to be. I think.
Yeah, no, he needs a lot more progression,
Yeah.
regardless of his age.
He hasn't even been pro that long, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
2021.
People need him to. They need him to like progress, like not be thrown up at the top, like they're
Yeah.
trying to make it seem like they will get him knocked out clean and ruin all of it if they do that.
I mean, like the punches he was landing, like they knock out a lot of fighters. They stop a lot of fighters. But,
Except
I
big
mean,
bad Coolwell.
I mean, he's always been tough.
I
He's always been tough.
didn't think it was gonna be that tough though. Goddamn.
And I mean, look, if maybe Carrington could have started a little bit quicker. I mean, for a slightly slow pace for like the first 3 rounds. Maybe if he started a bit quicker, because he did have Coolwell like possibly ready to go
And
in
then,
like
and
the
then
final round.
if I was gonna say, even if I said that earlier, that if it was a 10 rounder, like it probably should have been, he would have
Yeah,
stopped.
it should have been a 10 rounder. I don't know why this was an 8 rounder, but maybe I don't know. He just wanted to fight on his card, and that was the only way.
Yeah, like it regardless, like this was a great opportunity for him.
To show
Yeah,
to
yeah. But how
showcase
many?
himself.
Imagine
Too
how
many.
many
You're about
because
to say those live streams
Hundreds
had
of out,
100 to like
hundreds of
no,
500,000 people to watch the
no
first fight on the card.
more. Look on the Jake Paul one, their live stream with the prelims that got copyrighted, 4.8 million views. On the Netflix one that's still up, last time I checked, 5.2 million views.
No, yeah, but like live, there's like 500 people watching on both cards.
500,000. And then you've got Netflix itself that was also showing it. You had
Yeah, but who knows how many people?
presumably it was on Facebook as well. Presumably it was on TikTok. Presumably it was on
And Twitter.
Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, no,
Like
he
all
was
these
probably watched
sites
by
live
like
streaming it. Like
he's probably
Yeah,
watched by like over 1 million people.
and all the illegal streams as well,
Yeah,
yeah,
even though they didn't need one. But I guess not everyone knows that it's being streamed on YouTube. I didn't even know Netflix was streaming it. I just thought it was just MVP that was just streaming it on YouTube.
but that's great for his career.
and then he actually like looked good. Like if he pulled another
Yeah,
Sagawa performance, that would have been tough. But it was good. It's pretty damn
all
good.
that was really missing, like if he would have got a really good knockout, that would have skyrocketed him. But
Yeah, definitely.
it's still very very good. It's but yeah,
Yeah, see, that's what we're saying.
that's
Like you can look good. You don't need a knockout to look good. Like as long as you look good, we can forgive not getting a knockout.
sometimes guys just have a crazy chin.
Yeah,
And that's just what it was.
and a lot of the times they're Australian or Mexican.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a very good weekend. There was a lot of good action, but there was a lot of questionable action as well. Like a lot of the very good fights shouldn't have been good because they should have been
Great
easy
performances.
wins. Yeah,
Showcase
yeah,
performances, but they just
yeah.
ended up being list instead.
Yeah, it was a really good weekend. Like there's a lot of good fights.
I did enjoy
Two
this.
unifications. Like it was a really good weekend. It was under the radar a little bit, but really, really good.
Yeah, unfortunately, next week though.
Next week there's absolutely nothing, but I
Yeah.
think we'll get a show out in the week. We'll get something out.
We'll make something up.
But yeah, there is There is the Tyson Koki rematch on Friday, and there is the OTX finals. Don't know if that's Friday or Saturday, but
Casaragas Adams is a pretty damn good fight though.
it's a good fight, but they're like fringe contenders, and that's the biggest fight of the weekend.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a good.
Like it's not a great weekend, but it is what it is.
Oh,
We'll try and get
before we
something
go,
out.
you know who also look good?
Mm.
Dogger's favorite Cuban fighter,
Oh yes.
Erislandy
This
Alvarez.
is gonna annoy Taj that we're gonna talk about amateur boxing.
Nasty
But,
work. Like, nasty work.
the Kunlun Fight World Cup. It's a Chinese sponsored IBA tournament for the IBA guys that they've signed up to contracts, and Sofian Omaha was in it. Multi-time world champion, two-time Olympic medalist. He actually lost on Saturday, a very big upset. But Erislandy Alvarez is also in the tournament, and my god, what a fight! Like genuinely, if he turns pro before he's 27, there is not a world in which he does not win a world title. He is that good. Like he's so good, and
You
like
let
the
me
way he's
know.
fighting,
You let me know when he
the
gets.
way he's fighting now, the way he is fighting now. Trust me, Tards. The way he's fighting now, you can clearly see that he's transitioning. The way he's fighting, the way he's hammering the body, the way he's resetting, the way just everything about him, the way he's generating power, the way he's setting his feet, everything. That this guy, man, when he turns pro, he is going to be phenomenal. And I think the plan with him is to get this Cullen fight thing out the way, and then get him fighting on these IBA cards for sort of WBA continental belts, because he's signed up with IBA now for very, very good money. And yeah, like he'll be fighting like Batagaziev is, like for IBA pro titles, but also for sort of WBA ranking belts. Like a lot of these sort of Russians and Cubans are doing. Like there's a cruiserweight, Lenar Perez, that's doing similar. He'll be on that sort of thing, and they're going to push him, and he's going to be a ridiculous. Like once he gets a world title, like it's going to take a really, really, really good fighter to get it off him, because he is so good, man. He's so good.
And like Carrington, I mean, with that performance against someone less tough, that he's stopping them. I mean, his
Yeah,
opponent took so much punishment in that fight, was hurt so many times.
he was
And
hurt every round.
I'm kind of surprised it didn't get waved off, to be honest. They don't usually
So
let
am I.
fighters take that much punishment in an amateur fight.
Like the 14-ounce glove, like if that was 10-ounce gloves or 8-ounce gloves, like that's there's no way he sees that long. But he's so good. Like I nerd out over a lot of amateurs, but he's one like he's so good.
Yeah, because I stopped the card on just for his fight. And as expected, I was not disappointed.
He's brilliant, man. He's brilliant. But yeah, I I wasn't gonna mention that, but now you got me nerding out over him. So
Jackass, Smith.
Look, it's boxing and he looked good.
yeah, you can have your Katie Taylor fights. I'll have Erislandy Alvarez. Cheers. Um, but yeah, we'll get another show out this week. God knows what we're going to talk about, but we'll talk about something for an hour or so. And yeah, obviously the weekend after you got quite a big fight, Sonny Edwards against Galayo Fire. There's other stuff going on. I'm sure there'll be some news that we can talk about. There's purse bids happening all over the place, orders, fights, negotiations, stuff like that. But yeah, all the links to everything's in the description. And yeah, thanks for listening.
See you in episode 20.